closer, my friends. Tonight's story is not just about a house, nor about its tenants. It is about greed, that hungry spirit that never sleeps. It is about how a man who thought himself clever was unmasked by one he least expected. The elders say when the bush rat grows too bold, it will one day dance in front of the hunter's trap. The house of secrets. In the middle of a busy town stood a large compound, half painted with long corridors echoing every footstep. The house was owned by Pa Obina, a man in his late 50s. To outsiders, he was a caring landlord, smiling broadly at the market, donating small money at church, greeting neighbors with, "My people, God bless you." But within the walls of his compound, tenants whispered another story. Every tenant who ever lived there carried wounds of strange happenings, locks snapping in the night, food vanishing mysteriously, cooking fires put out as though by spirits, buckets of water drained dry before dawn. The worst part, no thief was ever caught. Instead, it was always Pa Obina himself who arrived, shaking his head, muttering, this house is bewitched. Maybe you people are careless." But the truth was darker. Pa Obina orchestrated every single act. He thrived on fear. His trick was simple. Torment tenants until they packed out before their rent expired, then re-rent the room for fresh money. His wife, Mama Adaeze, never suspected. His children, Adaeze, Chibuzo, and later Ifeoma, believed their father was a saint. Only the tenants knew something was wrong, yet they could never prove it. The tenants suffering month after month. Tenants arrived hopeful and left broken. One woman lost all her groundnuts overnight. A trader woke up to find his kiosk destroyed. A student failed exams because his lanterns were stolen each night. Rumors spread that compound is cursed. But Pa Obina kept luring new tenants with his false charm. He would stand in a corridor and say with a sigh, my house is unlucky, but don't worry, I will pray for you." Meanwhile, coins jingled in his pocket from tenants' wasted rent. The arrival of Chick. Then came Chick, a young teacher newly posted to the town. He was quiet with calm eyes that noticed everything. When he asked for a room, Pa Obina beamed. "My son, you are welcome. In this house, there is peace. Pay your rent and rest." Chike paid in full and moved in with little. Just books, a bag, and a small radio. He greeted neighbors politely, never complained. But unlike others, he was not easily fooled. On his first night, he noticed the corridor too quiet, too watched. He felt eyes on him. His instincts whispered, "This house is not ordinary." First signs. It began subtly. His padlock scratched as though tested. His water disappeared, though he had filled it himself. One evening, when he returned from school, his door stood ajar. Nothing was missing, but his mattress had shifted as if someone had sat on it. Chika said nothing. He only watched. By the second week, his suspicion sharpened. He began laying small traps. A thin thread tied across his locker handle, rice sprinkled by his doorway, chalk dust across the threshold. Each morning, the thread was broken. The rice scattered, the chalk smudged. Someone was entering. The night watch. One moonlit night, Chiki stayed awake, lying still as though asleep. Hours dragged. At midnight, the corridor creaked. Footsteps shuffled closer. Then his door shifted. Through his lashes, he saw him, the landlord, Pa Obina himself, barefoot, holding a small iron rod, crouching like a thief. Chiki's chest tightened with fury, but he forced himself silent, pretending to sleep. The landlord fiddled with the lock, looked around, and slipped away. That night, Chik knew the so-called curse was none other than the landlord. The plan Chike did not want mere suspicion. He wanted proof. He whispered to his neighbors, a tailor named Ngozi and a trader named Musa. At first they laughed bitterly. Our landlord, that man prays with us in church. But Chike's eyes burned with certainty. He is the one. Let us catch him. Together they hatched a trap. They placed a basket of yam in the corridor, covered lightly. Then they hid in Chike's room with the lantern ready. The night was heavy with silence. The crickets sang, the compound lay still. Then soft footsteps. A shadow crept to the basket. Fingers reached inside. Suddenly, Chike lit the lantern. The flame burst out. There he was. Pa Obina froze, yam in hand, eyes wide like a goat caught in the marketplace. Landlord, Chike's voice thundered. So it was you all along, Ngozi gasped. Musa shouted. Other tenants rushed out, seeing the truth with their own eyes. The outrage. By morning, the compound was in uproar. Tenants wailed, cursing him. Women spat on the ground. Men raised fists, demanding justice. Mama Daisy came running, hair untied. What is happening? She screamed. And there, in front of wife and children, Pa Obina stood disgraced. His eldest son pulled at his cloth, crying, Papa, is it true? Neighbors gathered, whispering. Some laughed cruelly. Others pitied his innocent family. The evidence Chike brought out the broken threads, the chalk marks, the rice grains, and the yam basket. He explained each step of his investigation. Every sign pointed to the landlord. Now even those who doubted had no defense. The case reached the elders. The police were summoned. And in front of all, Pa Obina was handcuffed, dragged away in shame. His wife collapsed, weeping. His children hid, mocked by other children. Your father is a thief. Your father is a devil. The once proud landlord now walked bald, a prisoner of his own greed. The lesson that day, the elders spoke. A house built on deceit will crumble on its owner's head. The tenants remained stronger together. Chike became their hero, remembered as the man who ended the torment. Mama Adaeze and her children were spared shame, for everyone knew they were innocent, and the story spread across town. The landlord who thought himself wise, but was unmasked by a tenant he underestimated. So, my friends, remember, evil may hide in smiles, but truth is like daylight. It will always come. Greed may fatten the pockets, but it empties the soul. The elders say the chicken that scratches too far will one day uncover the knife meant for its neck. This was the story of Pa Obina, the greedy landlord who met his match.